Welcome back. We are still working on homework 2 and we're finishing out the back here. So let's take a look. We finished this congruent statement and right I got cut off. I was almost done finishing out this last side. So first and middle, middle last, first last. Those are the sides. All right, next question. Question 8. We have mark all the congruent angles and sides for each pair of congruent triangles. So this is a lot like this question. Notice we have D and N. So D and N, E and L, E and L, F and F, F and F. So I've marked all the angles. I also have to mark my sides. First and middle is DE. First and middle, LF. Middle and last, EF. Middle and last, LF. First and last, DF. First and last, NF. Awesome. 9. Determine which one would be congruent. So, interestingly enough, we can add this mark because of this reflexive concept. So now my evidence spells side, 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 triangle congruence. Okay, looking at here, I really just have a right angle, another angle, and another angle. That looks like angle similarity. I don't have any sides, so notice every single one of my congruence theorems has a letter S in it, or H, that's a side, hypotenuse. I don't have a mark on my hypotenuses, and I don't have a mark on my legs. So I have to say not congruent. All right, next one. I notice this idea of reflexive coming up again. So I can mark that reflexive. Now my evidence spells side, angle, side, side, angle, side. So it's side, angle, side, triangle congruence. Great job. Hopefully those match your answers. Now looking at 12, what's the measure of DL? Uh-oh, I think that's a typo. What's the measure of EF? Okay. So it looks like here that this length and this length match, but I don't have information for that one. It looks like this long side LM matches this long side DE. So DE looks like a match for LM. We know two things about these, don't we? We know that LM is 53, and we know DE is 2x plus 3. So this one we can solve. Okay, so now that we know x is 25, we can start to fill in a lot of missing pieces here. So if that's 25, 25 and 15 would be 40. So we actually know that's 40. That also means we know this one's 40. If that's 40, that's 40, because those are corresponding parts. We know that's 25, right? Yeah, so that's 53. That's 53. Let's see, can we find out this length here? It looks like we can solve for y here because angle F should match angle N. So angle F matches angle N. So F is 5y and N is 120. So if I divide by 5 on both sides, y is 24. Now that I know y is 24, I can plug this back in and solve for EF. So if y is 24, we can plug in a 24 there. Type that into the calculator. 25 times 1.5 plus 1.3. We get 37.3. Now let me see if I can figure out what is this DL. I'm thinking that they want I'm thinking that they probably wanted to know the measure of angle L. Let's say that's what that should have been. And we solved for that. That was 40. Okay. Mystery solved. Now 14. Interesting. I'm going to keep going here using these instructions. This is reflexive, so I can add 2 necklaces there, and I get angle, side angle, angle, side angle. That's one of my choices. Angle, side angle, triangle congruence. This is vertical too. If that's 90, that's 90. This spells angle, side, side, angle, side, side. Normally that'd be not congruent, but it looks like they have a hypotenuse are a match and another leg is a match. So that would spell HL, right triangle congruence. Cool. Now looking at this one, I have a right angle and a right angle. This would spell angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. So angle, angle, side, triangle congruence. Another choice we learned last year, you can call this H and see how a second angle is a match. You could also say HA, right triangle congruence. Both are correct. All right, let's keep going. Now we have 2 triangles, CDE, HIJ. So angle D is this expression. Angle I is this expression. Now notice, since D and I are both in the middle, we know they have to be equal to each other. So to set this up, we know angle D is equal to angle I because we were told they were congruent. So these we're just going to set equal to each other. 5y plus 1, 6y minus 25. Plus 25, we get y is 26. Now that we know what y is, we can solve for the measure of angle D. If y is 26, then 5 times 26 plus 1 will give me the measure of angle D. Okay, so I get 131. All right. Next question. Still, same picture. These 2 are a match. Now they're saying DE, this side, IJ, that side. Well, those should be a match, so because they're saying middle last matches middle last. So I can set these equal to each other. So 2x equals 3. Don't worry, that's going to be a fraction, but I don't care about fractions. That's acceptable. Okay, now what would DE be? So if x is 3/2 or 1.5, what would DE be? Well, we know DE is 9x, and if x is 1.5, we simply take 1.5 times 9. 13.5. Okay, so 13.5. All right, last question. Darkwell says the perimeter of 2 congruent triangles are the same. Do you agree or disagree? Explain. So this triangle is supposedly equal to that triangle. Does it make sense that their perimeter would be the same? So if this side was 5, this side would have to be 5. If this side was 7, this side would have to be 7. If this side was 10, this side would have to be 10. So would it make sense that the perimeter would be the same? Well, the perimeter of this one would be 10 plus 5 plus 7. The perimeter of this one would also be 10 plus 5 plus 7. So it looks like yes. If the triangles are congruent, I meant to say corresponding. Their corresponding parts must be congruent. So all three sides would be equal. All three corresponding sides would be equal and add up to the same perimeter. Thanks for joining us. Hope you guys have a terrific weekend.